Hello, I'm Holly Sexton with Abound Credit Union, and I'm focused on partnering with Kentucky schools to teach financial education concepts to students. One of our partner districts is Hardin County Schools. Over the next few segments of the show, I'll chat with students about their experiences with our financial education initiatives. I'll speak with Hardin County Schools Superintendent Terry Morgan and Hardin County Schools Chief Academic Officer Greg Sutton. Plus, we'll catch up with a teacher who has first-hand experience with Abound's financial education program and Abound Executive Vice President Becky Ates. Plus, I'll tell you how you can build wealth, pay off debt, increase your credit score, and more. So stick with me if you want to achieve your financial goals. We're here to talk more about our partnership with Hardin County Schools and financial education. Now, we're sitting 6 feet apart and we're going to take our masks off and we're going to welcome our latest guest. She is an educator. Sandra Rupchin is with us, and Sandra has a master's in education, and she is also an Excel Teacher of the Year award winner. And I've been in your classroom and I've seen that awesome little apple. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me to be here.
And it was such a surprise to see you this morning because I know you're doing things a little bit differently due to the pandemic. So what are you into? Are you still in 5th grade classrooms?
No, I am actually one of the Online Learning Academy teachers. I am teaching a great group of 4th graders this year.
And I know that that has been so much learning, like learning driven part of our culture, but also lots of challenges there. So I commend you.
Thank you very much
for that. Before the pandemic, we were able to come into your classroom and play a fun game and teach the kids more and reinforce what they had learned in our online modules, our digital learning. And we had a lot of fun, and we learned about classroom management while we were playing the game, and they learned, hopefully, more about how to manage their money. So what brought you immediately into the fold with us? Because I contacted you, and you just grabbed a hold of the entire financial education program and went with it. What enticed you to do that?
Well, the previous year, we always send a survey out at the end of the year for our parents and our families for feedback. So the previous year's data and information from our families were saying that our children, our students, were not comfortable with financial literacy concerns. They were not understanding how to use money or a bank account or a debit card or how all of those things were connected. So what Ms. Morgan had proposed for us to do was to partner with EverFi, which is now Abound, and to do the financial literacy program. I currently, at that time, was teaching social studies, so it just fed right on into the program, talking about economics and how money impacts everything. And the reason I ran with it was because it fit. It was just a natural fit as to why did we set up the United States and what were the economic issues that they had then and what are some of the same economic issues that we have today and what have we created from it.
That is a fantastic response. Thank you. That encourages me too, because since then there has been an update. So we knew that we needed to improve on the database, and so Abound partnered with EverFi to make those updates. So now the closed captioning is there. It's also in Spanish and several other languages, and we have more diverse characters, and we needed that in the narrative. And so I know too, a lot of people talk about equity in education. Financial education is that. It brings equity to our lives if we're all on the same page when it comes to learning about money.
Yes, I think that's very important. I'm very glad that they've made the updates because I had some students that needed those accommodations during our time last year with the program. So I know that they will do even greater. But with equity, I think it's very important because each of our backgrounds and our relationships and connections with money is based on the success of our parents and based on the success of our parents' parents and other family members and friends that have helped raise them. So if we have unhealthy relationships or if we have foundations that are not fully developed, it can give us a skewed view on money.
Absolutely. And I have 2 more questions for you. I want to talk to you all day.
Sure.
But we also are
I love being here.
Thank you. We're going to talk to some students as well that you know,
yes,
which is exciting, and talk to them about the program. What feedback did you get from students?
I think a lot of my students loved the game and were able to make a better connection after doing the program and participating in the game, and then asking the questions. It was very interesting to listen to my students' questions because it also gave me insight as to where they view the future. Some were talking about college, some were talking about having a vehicle, some were talking about wanting a business. So I think that gave me a greater perspective and also helped me to see that let's bring in future goals right in the beginning as we start it.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
So that students can create that connection even better.
I love that. I'm all about goals. We use SMART goals.
Yes.
At all levels, from elementary to college to adult education. When it comes to financial education, we talk about how to set goals
Yes.
and how to reach those goals and,
Yes.
and make new ones. So that is so exciting. So I don't know if you remember, because it's been 20,000 months ago, because this is 2020. No, I'm just kidding. It was in March.
Feels like it's been forever.
It feels like it's been forever. But as we were wrapping up that day after being in the school with you and being with the students, you said, hey, I have an idea. I'd like to do a workshop or something in the future. What do you look forward to with financial education with Abound in the future?
I think financial education for the future is really the present, providing a sense of number sense for our students, which also connects the math that I could see in the future for our students like 5th grade and up, participating in a type of work fair or a career fair where they're able to have a checkbook based on the career that they say that they want, and then going through that day, exploring, seeing how much it costs to raise a family, of how many of our children they have or choose to not have, based on their profession, based on the luxuries that they want, and the necessities that they want. I think I've seen it happen in the past, and I know it was very impactful for our students to really think about what they want to do. I think it's very essential, especially when they go to 6th grade and they do the individual learning plan, where they really think about their careers and they help to develop that path that will guide them through the rest of their middle school education and high school education for the future.
Well, I am pumped to hear you say that, because I think we can create something together that will be fun, it will be engaging, and it will really show them what life looks like.
Yes, especially with this whole pandemic, I think it's even more essential to have a sense of numbers, because when we were shut down, to be able to not move and to deal with the physical monies, you still have to be able to manage that money in the bank, because it's still real and it still has a value to it. So I think we need to be prepared for any time, any situation.
Yes, and savings too, and we'll talk a lot more about that. Oh, I can't wait to partner up with you again.
Yes, I can't wait either.
Thank you so much for being on with me today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're back with a 6th grade student, Kaylee Paget, and we're sitting 6 feet apart. So we'll take our masks off for a little mask break so we can chat. Again, that 6th grade student, Kaylee Paget. Kaylee, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So what did you like best about Abound's financial education program?
I like the games because most of the lessons were like, you would have a little fun, but it was mainly work. And then in the games, you would get to pick your options and what you get to do and what you don't do, and it would determine how you would do in life.
Yeah, like a choose your own adventure type of thing. Absolutely. So can you share one thing that you learned about managing money from taking the financial education program?
I learned that you don't have to spend all your money at once. If you save up, you can get things, and it's not really okay to get things that you want now, but later they could be out of style and you want a different thing. Knowing
the difference between wants and needs. Do you need that brand new iPhone, or do you just want the brand new iPhone? You know? So wants and needs. Fantastic. So what do you think is important to learn about managing money?
I think it's important to learn that you need to try and save and work hard to get your money and work for it, and not just like take it from somebody or do something else for it. You have to work for it, and then you have to use it correctly.
You have to use it correctly. That's absolutely right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back. And we're back to talk more about the financial education partnership between Abound Credit Union and Hardin County Schools. And now we're 6 feet apart and we can take our masks off. So mask break, yay. We are with Hardin County Schools Superintendent Terry Morgan. And Terry, it's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Oh, it's so exciting to be here and be part of this financial literacy program.
And we're learning a lot, not just the students, but adults.
Yes, absolutely.
How is and why is Hardin County Schools prioritizing financial education at this time?
Well, as you know, the legislators a couple of years ago mandated it, but we had seen the need for financial literacy for years, not just at the high school level. We really feel strongly that you need to set that foundation early on with our elementary students to middle to high school so that they have those building blocks. And by the time you become a senior in high school, you are inundated with all the decisions you have to make, so it's great to already have that foundation.
That makes so much sense because we partner with HCEC-TV for their first year experience.
Yes.
And these are students who have no foundation in financial education at all. So it's so important to start in that elementary level.
Well, and if you think about it, a lot of students will have jobs all the way through. So if they make $10 a week and parents can start saying save $5 of that to begin with, then when they get to middle school and they may be making $50 a week, again, they save half of that. And if we can get that in value instilled in saving and not instantly spending, getting rid of that instant gratification, I think you will see much better financially literate adults through that process.
And that's what we're looking for.
Absolutely.
We want freshmen to come in at HCEC-TV or to U of L or UK to come from Hardin County Schools having already had some introduction and a basic, solid, healthy financial education.
Yes, and when they go into HCEC-TV, which is a great resource here locally, but when they go off to college and they have to accumulate debt, they realize that that is a long-term commitment. Past that, when that college ends, when a lot of people graduate, they're not graduating debt-free, and that's what we would like to instill. And you know, we tell our students we want you to make a living wage or above, and then we want you to end college debt-free so that you can then have the things that you want, always get what you need, and a little of what you want, and you'll be in great shape.
That's great to hear. So what are you hearing from educators about the program that we launched just this past spring?
The educators are really excited. The platform that Abound has provided to our elementary student allows some fun. It's not all just gloom and doom, but they are given choices, and these choices reflect what they're going to have to decide in real life. You know, hey, there's a new iPhone coming out. Is mine really that old? You know, I also need a book for this class, and which should I do? Get the new iPhone or pay for this book? Get the new iPhone or pay for a college class? Which one is really going to give me the best interest over the long term?
I'm glad you brought that up because the program does talk about wants and needs. It also talks about understanding priorities, and there's some civics in there, a little civics lesson, and some math too with budgeting.
Right, and the interesting thing with the students is they will go, my parents talked about this, or you know what, my parents said they couldn't afford to do this because they didn't have the money to do this. My parents couldn't fix the car because they didn't have $400 for that catastrophic emergency, unexpected emergency. So the students are picking up on what they've heard at home, and then they are taking these lessons and sharing it with the parents. So our teachers are really excited of the transfer of the knowledge from one generation to the next. I think that's very exciting.
And as teacher Sandra Rupchin mentioned, is the conversations that are happening. These crucial conversations that are arising as an outlier from the program.
Absolutely, and I would love to hear a parent perspective of what they're hearing from home, because I'm thinking some parents may be rolling their eyes at what their students are saying, and I'm thinking most parents are going to go, wow, thank goodness they're learning these lessons way before I had to learn these lessons.
That is so true. Such a good point. So we talked about the long-term benefit to students, but overall, when you meet with Greg Sutton, who I refer to as the curriculum coordinator, but he's the chief academic officer, but that includes curriculum.
Absolutely.
How did you two connect on that, and how did you feel about what we're doing with Abound?
Well, part of the curriculum, you have your math standards, but we want to take it further than those math standards to real life standards. What is it going to take for students to be successful in life? And that's where we want our students to be, is making those decisions that are going to be helpful and set them up for success. And also, when they get to college, believe it or not, there are companies that prey upon college students, wanting them to get a credit card, wanting them to get a credit card even though they do not have a full-time or even part-time job, and suddenly they've accumulated $1,000 in debt. $1,000 doesn't sound like a lot until you add that 23% interest rate, and what happens when you don't pay that off on a monthly basis, how large that very limited credit card can be by the time you finish college. So we want our students, again, to be educated and make the best decisions for their financial future.
We do too, and we appreciate your partnership.
Thank you. Abound has just been so gracious to provide this for our students and the training for our teachers so that we can use the program most effectively.
For sure. And what's exciting too is even with distance learning, Greg Sutton has been able to gather the 5th grade teachers, and we've been able to train them virtually, and they'll be able to introduce that in just a few weeks to their students.
Yes, we are taking notes on what things we have found successful through COVID, and a lot of virtual meetings instead of having people to drive. So we're going to take the best of this situation and utilize those skills in the future as well.
Yeah, so our partnership with Hardin County Schools looks a little different right now. We do a lot more in-person and gameplay as well to make it fun and make it sticky, but we're still teaching financial education even though we can't meet in person right now.
Absolutely,
all of us.
And our students still need financial education even during this time.
Great. Well, thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more financial education partnership with Hardin County Schools and Abound Credit Union. And we're back to talk to 6th grade student Rom Danther. Actually, let me take my mask off. We're 6 feet apart. Are you ready, Rom?
Yes.
All right. Welcome, Rom. Rom Danterthy. Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I'm so excited to talk to you about financial education. Where do you attend school?
6th grade, Bluegrass Middle School.
All right, Bluegrass. So what did you like best about Abound's financial education program?
It was the way that it was interactive. There were so many ways that you could learn how to do it. It wasn't just one, you could pick which ways you wanted to do it.
And can you share one thing you learned about managing money by taking the program?
Yes. It's better to save your money for things you need later in life than spend it on things you want now.
That's a big one. And why do you think it's important to learn about managing money?
Because if you're in college and you have to take a loan, then later in life, if you don't manage your money correctly, you could have a big student loan that could hold you back from many things.
Those are all great responses. Thank you for being on today. We appreciate it. And now we're back to welcome Greg Sutton. But first, we're 6 feet apart, so we're going to take our masks off.
All right, no mask.
Mask break.
Good. Mask break. We'll take it.
As I said, with my mask on, I don't know if you could hear me, but I said Greg Sutton. Greg is the Chief Academic Officer for Hardin County Schools, and you also carry another title. What is that title?
Yeah, this year I've taken on the Chief of Student Services, so I'm very excited about that and working with different programs, additional programs in our district, so it's been an exciting year for me. I'm learning a lot of new things beyond instruction.
And just like teacher Sandra Rupchin, who we talked with earlier, you just grabbed a hold of the financial education program Abound was offering and ran with it. So what do you appreciate most about the program?
Well, we did. And first of all, I want to say what I appreciate the most about Abound's financial literacy education program is the fact that you guys as a community partner have invested in our students. You invested in our students' future by offering this program to Hardin County Schools. And I started thinking that every child that enters Hardin County Schools in kindergarten, and if they stay with us throughout their tenure in Hardin County Schools, sometime within that 12 years, every student's going to be impacted by this program. And I'm not sure you can say that about a lot of things. So just what I appreciate the most is just a community partner that reached out to us to say, we want to impact kids. Kids need financial literacy. And I'm telling you, it's going to have an impact over time.
I love to hear that. And you were so eager and made it so easy to implement. And the program continues to grow despite the pandemic. So
Right.
thank you for making training options available.
Started out very well. I've already trained all of our 5th grade teachers this year, and I'll kind of speak more about that as we move on. Very excited.
So what are those plans to continue building on the program as students transition to middle school?
Well, here's the thing. All of our middle schools this year for the first time have a career exploration course in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And as they start to explore these careers, if you visit the classrooms, one of the funniest things that kids always ask is, how much money am I going to make, when I take on this career? It's what they honestly ask. So
Sure.
really, that opens up avenues to talk about financial goals, financial planning, budgeting. That one question opens up a lot of things for us to say, hey, we have a curriculum opportunity here for you to think about this. So really, I just found out about a week ago that this has basically been a 5th grade financial literacy program for us, but now we're going to expand this on into the middle schools. We've actually already identified teachers at the middle school level that will be implementing the financial literacy curriculum. We've reached out to principals. We're going to be training them after fall break, just like we have our 5th grade teachers. So we're going to be implementing financial literacy, not just in 5th grade now, but now with our career exploration classes in every grade in the middle school level.
That is
so
fantastic.
it's already expanding.
Oh,
Yes.
that's pumped.
And
Oh
that's
my
why we
gosh.
appreciate Abound giving us that flexibility to move it from elementary school into middle school as well.
Oh, that's super exciting. And especially after hearing teacher perspectives of how they creatively plan to use the program and implement them, because a part of your job as well is making sure that curriculum meets standards. So how does our program meet standards for Hardin County Schools?
And actually what they're doing, it's kind of neat. We're kind of putting them into the second 9 weeks this year, but I think the really creative teacher can sit there and say, during the second 9 weeks, whatever I'm teaching within the curriculum map or within the curriculum, they try to connect a piece or a module within the financial literacy to that math to make it real life, to realize it's not just solving a problem, it's about true planning and actually using the skills you have to apply to life skills. That's what we're trying to get them to do.
Yeah,
Not
and
just-
that's the true partnership component too,
It is.
is that teachers are able to take that curriculum, and we do have the distance learning modules, the online modules, but beyond that, they can look at the curriculum and fit it right in
They can
to
fit
what
it
they're
right
already
in.
teaching.
Absolutely. And our elementary school has been able to do that. And I know once our middle schools get trained on it, they're going to feel the same way.
So a driving force behind financial education in our county is now Hardin County Schools. So as a leader in financial education and moving into middle school and high school and so on, what advice would you give to viewers as far as implementing it in their community or in their classroom?
Well, I think it has to have a holistic approach, like what we've talked about today. It can't just be for your 5th grade students. We've got to move this into our middle schools. We've got to have it vertically aligned to where kids don't just talk about this topic one time. It becomes a part of what they do. And thinking about financial education, well before it's required in high school, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of talk about that, is
Sure.
When we have an 8th grade student who will have had financial literacy in 5th grade, career exploration in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, along with additional financial literacy programs, they're going to sit down in the 8th grade with a high school counselor, with their parents or guardian, and with themselves, and they're going to say, what is my career pathway? What do I want to outline for myself as a 4-year plan for high school? And when they start outlining the career pathway they choose, they start thinking about things like co-op opportunities, internships, on-the-job learning. And when they start talking about those things, they start talking about, once again, making money, financial planning, and making sure that their outline fits their career goals, because we got kids that are working on career technical education industry certifications. They're working on work ethic certification, what it takes to be successful in a job. They're working on potential post-secondary education, military. We have such a vast variety of opportunities for kids. I think it's critical that we sit down that 8th grade, we schedule with them, we look at that career pathway and say, how does my financial education planning from 5th grade, my career exploration, 6th, 7th, and 8th, lead to my career pathway choice by outlining my high school schedule? It's very holistic. I would encourage any school district looking at this program to think of it like that. Financial literacy is not a one-time discussion. It's not a one-time class. And our state is supporting that by saying every high school student has to be financially literate, take a financial literacy course before graduation, but with Abound support, we're able to start this in 5th grade, follow through with middle school, and on into high school. It's vertically aligned now.
And
the way I'm
you've taught
seeing
me
it.
that. You've educated me with that as far as it not being a one-time teaching opportunity, but also all the way through their school career.
We want to be a part of what they do, what they talk about, and how they think moving forward, because as Ms. Morgan would say, we want kids to think about what's it going to take for me to have a living wage job, what's it going to take for me to set my financial goals, my planning, my budget, and also get them to understand that life's not all about money. It's about passion. Yeah. And if we can lead them, starting in 8th grade with that one-on-one scheduling through a career pathway that might be their passion, the money will always be there. But what you do with the money, I think it's part of that education that we're offering them vertically starting in 5th grade now. But I appreciate you all allowing us to do this in middle school this year. That's probably that was the next step that we needed to take in order to make this a success.
Which is going so fast because we just started in January, and
correct.
And already we're moving to higher levels, which is exciting.
Yes, we do, and that's what I want people to realize. This is not a time-consuming thing. With your all support, the training has been seamless to our teachers. We've been able to do it virtually, and we're going to follow through that on, I believe, maybe October the 18th after the break with our middle schools, and that'll be done virtually as well. And the training takes about 45 minutes. The modules are very user-friendly. Putting the kids on the program has been very user-friendly. And I guess that, and I also like the feedback you are giving students about the students are earning a certificate. Yeah. You know, the 5th graders earn a certificate for completing their financial literacy program, and I hope to do the same for our middle schools as well.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk to Abound Executive Vice President Becky Yates in just a few minutes about incentivizing kids even more, and students, middle school, high school students, even more to learn about how managing money is going to impact their lives.
It's critical.
Thanks
critical
so
part.
much.
Thanks for having me here today.
I'm
excited. I'm excited. You know I am. I stay excited. So, thanks for having me on here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we'll be right back to talk to Becky. And we're back with our final guest, last but not least for certain. And we're 6 feet apart, so we're going to take our masks off and chat with Becky Yates, Executive Vice President of Abound Credit Union. And Becky, you and I work together every day.
We do.
And we care and we're passionate about financial education.
Yes, we certainly are.
So why is Abound Credit Union investing in financial education?
Wow. Whenever you think about Abound's purpose, about our mission, it's all about improving our members' financial lives. So when you consider the stories, when you consider the statistics, there are survey statistics out there that talk about that 60% of Kentuckians cannot afford a $1,000 emergency expense. Also, when you hear the stories that we hear on a daily basis where we refinance high rate interest loans down to lower rate interest loans for members, and greatly improving their cash flow, that just, made it very clear to us that it's time that we really get focused on financial education and really be more deliberate about making those things happen. So that's where we began in offering financial education in the elementary schools. So we think that it's going to be meaningful to all students that take advantage of that.
And you took it very seriously, and so did the board in looking at the long-term goals for Abound Financial Education.
Absolutely, we certainly have. This year, we are sponsoring 54 schools in our communities, and we're in the process right now of getting those teachers trained up in those schools. We have some pretty lofty goals to add for the addition of students to get trained up in the addition of schools. But we're excited about it because we know that smarter students are going to become smarter adults financially. And let's face it, smarter adults make smarter communities. And that's what we want in all of our markets.
So what's the scope of Abound's financial education initiatives?
Well, so we've started with the financial education in elementary schools. and working with 5th graders. As you heard Greg Sutton talk earlier, they're going to be rolling that out to their middle schoolers. And we have done that in some of our communities. Some of the school districts have decided to offer it to their middle schoolers. So that is certainly huge for us to be doing that in Hardin County for elementary and middle school. The next phase of that is in the high school. So we are one of the leaders in supporting the financial literacy effort that was mandated for high school students. So we're one of the leaders in supporting that effort in the state. So, and currently we're working with some high schools to, be able to provide workshops in some of their business classes, and we'll continue that effort. We are also working with HCEC-TV and trying to develop a couple of other partnerships with college students. With HCEC-TV, we are offering a financial education workshop, for example, this month, starting today, October. HCEC-TV is celebrating financial education. So we're going to be providing 3 workshops to their FYE, first year experience students, and their business students. So we're really excited about the opportunity to do that. In addition, we're trying to develop partnerships in other colleges in some of our markets. And, it doesn't just stop there. We have many adults in our markets, in our communities, that, they just simply have not had the financial literacy or the opportunity to gain financial literacy or any financial education in their past. So we are also offering adult workshops. One of the ones that I'm most proud of is our Veteran to Entrepreneur workshop. We offer that each year together with the SBDC, local SBDC, or the Kentucky SBDC, together with Patricia Krausman and her team. And we offer workshops for veterans and try to provide resources for them to be able to offer or be able to start their own business. So we will be providing a virtual workshop this year. A little different than what we've done in the past, but we're going to offer that in November. And so we're really looking forward to that. We'll be getting more out to our community as far as how to sign up for that, registration, and so forth. So we're really excited to be involved at every level and to continue our efforts in making our community smarter through financial education.
Fantastic. And we're also partnered with Goodwill Industries and United Way of Central Kentucky for Way to Work.
Yes.
And that is on a very individual basis for adults who have little to no financial education. And this is the very beginnings and the foundation of learning for them, which is exciting.
Yes,
So,
it is.
Good stuff. So finally, Becky, how can viewers learn more about Abound's financial education programs and become a member of the credit union?
So a couple of ways. Probably the easiest is to go to our website, aboundcu.com. There are lots of resources there. You can, click on any of the buttons that we have to learn more about our programs, to learn more about financial education, to join and become a member. And in addition to that, you can visit any one of our branches and speak to one of our great member service reps, one of our great branch managers, to learn more about the credit union and become a member.
And finally, for those who are not members and may have missed the meeting, you did a great job presenting the scholarships, the Rouse scholarships for 2020, and so much more being given now, and 10 opportunities for seniors.
In the past, Abound Credit Union offered 4 scholarships totaling $4,000 to students in our communities. This year, we increased that to 10 scholarships totaling $25,000. And we are just, so excited to be able to offer that. And the students, the level of their applications was just phenomenal. Their applications were incredible. I mean, high ACT scores, 4.0 GPAs. Their essays were incredible. We had some really incredible videos as well. So yes, we're very excited to have been able to increase that level of scholarship opportunity.
Looking forward to seeing 10 more faces
Yes.
up on the screen in the spring.
Yes.
So viewers, if you're watching right now and you're interested, if you were a senior in high school and you're graduating in the class of 2021, you can go to aboundcu.com first week of January, and obtain that application and get started.
Yes, and join ahead of time
Yep.
so that you will be eligible to receive that scholarship opportunity.
Fantastic. Well, after talking to Sandra Ruchin and Greg Sutton and Superintendent Morgan and talking to you and wrapping things up, I'm very excited about the partnership with Hardin County Schools and where we're headed.
Absolutely. And I will mention, just thinking back about what Rom and Kaylee said, and you could see that they did learn, absolutely. We are all about trying to instill in students at a very young age the need to understand wants and needs and the need to save early on, and how that you can build up to purchase something, or you build your money up, you build your savings up continuously for retirement purposes. I mean, it's just huge. You've got to learn at a very early age, pay yourself first.
Yeah.
It's so important.
It is so important, and I'm excited about what's to come.
Me too.
All right. Thanks, Becky.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us today. Financial education is not just for kids. At Abound, we support lifelong learning. I promise to share how you can build wealth, pay off debt, and increase your credit score. You can take free 5-minute modules at aboundcu.com. 5 minutes is all you need to learn about concepts that can change your life. The 5-minute modules are available to you anytime for free at aboundcu.com. Just click the Learn tab. I'm happy to meet with you one-on-one. Email me at hmsexton@aboundcu.com. That's hmsexton@aboundcu.com. And thanks again for spending time with us today. We'll see you soon.